drawing friends, welcome back to Joss's Kids Draw. I'm Joss, and today I'm going to teach you how to draw, color, and shade 2 candy canes. If you've ever thought to yourself, how do you draw a candy cane? Well, this is a step-by-step drawing lesson to teach you. Now, for this, you'll need some paper, something to draw with, and something to color with. But anything will work. I'll be using some paper to draw on, an ultra-fine point Sharpie to draw with, and some Staedtler watercolor brush pens to color with. Now, before I teach you how to draw a candy cane, let's do a challenge. You have 5 seconds to press the thumbs up button and the subscribe button down below. But you have to do it with your pinky. You ready? Let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did you do it? I hope you did. Now, let's get to drawing. If you don't have your drawing supplies yet, make sure you pause the video and go get them. And also make sure you have something underneath your drawing so that you don't get anything on your table. Now, I have my paper taped to my workspace so that it doesn't move around on me, but you don't have to do that. Now, first I'm going to take the lid off my Sharpie so that, well, I can draw. And I'm going to start by doing a little curved line. Okay, now I'm going to take that and I'm going to continue and do an upside down U shape. And continue that to a straight line all the way down. Now, if I ever go too fast, you can always pause the video, do the step, then press play when you're ready. Okay, now to do the other part of the candy cane. I'm going to take this and I'm going to continue it and do the same shape as I did before, but making sure to keep the same distance away from the other line so that it's not an uneven candy cane. So, I'm going to continue that, going down, and then stopping the same length of this. Okay, now I'm going to do a U to connect the bottom. Perfect. Now for the other side, I'm going to do it a little bit differently because I need to make sure that this is the same. Although it doesn't necessarily have to be, I just would like it to. So, starting at the top here, I am going to come out of this area right here because they're going to share this line because they're back to back. Now, I'm going to take this up and curve it, but then stop when I think that these are the same length or height across. Okay, now I'm going to try and do the same curve as I did here, going up and then down. Now this one's a little further out, but that's okay because they're candy canes and they're not all going to be the same. Now, I'm going to do a little U shape to start the end. Good. Now I'm going to continue to curve it up to make an upside down U, just like I did over here. Now for this line, you're going to keep the same distance away from this line as you've started, because they're going to share this line like I said earlier. Okay, so I'm going to draw a straight line going down. Perfect. Now finally, to finish off this candy cane shape, I'm going to do a U to connect that in. Good. Now, here's a really important part, because they're candy canes, they need stripes. So, I'm going to start down here and do a curved line up, because they're going to wrap around the candy cane, not just go straight across. So, I'm going to do that just a little further up now. And so here's where the red's going to be. This is going to be colored red. Now I'm going to leave a bigger space and draw another curved line. Now this section is going to be white. Now I'm going to continue doing that all the way up, drawing lines that are the equal distances apart from each other. Although, if yours aren't, that's totally fine. It takes lots of practice to be able to get them to be perfectly equal. And even I can't get them to be perfectly equal, which is perfectly okay. Now, I'm going to continue doing that all the way up, doing a line and connecting. Now, for this one, it's going to be a little different because I'm getting into the part where it curves. I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to curve downward. And now over here, I'm going to curve downward again. And now I'm going to continue curving downward. And now I need to move around a little bit because I need to continue the curves. But remember that it is also curving, the candy cane. So I need to change the direction that my curves are going. And there we go. That's how you do the stripes on a candy cane. Now, for the other side, I'm going to get them to go up a different direction. They're going to go up to the right. So now I'm going to do that. Except I'm going to start my stripe down here and just do one. And now this area is going to be colored in red. Now I'm going to do a nice big space and do a curved line up. Now I'm going to make this one closer to this for the stripe. Okay. Now I'm going to do a bigger gap to leave for the white space. Now, a tighter line for the stripe. And now I'm going to do that all the way up. Bigger gap, smaller gap. Bigger gap, smaller gap. Now here, once again, I'm going to change the direction of my line and do it facing downward. So it's going to start curving the other way. And that's all there is to it. It's very simple and easy. But it looks really good. And so I'm going to continue curving my lines over. Big gap, small gap. Finally, I'm going to do one more line right there. And that's basically how you draw 2 candy canes. You can add any details you'd like because this is fairly simple. But I'm just going to leave it like this and go into coloring. I'll be coloring these like classic candy canes with the red stripe and the white gap. But if you want to add in some green, that's good too. And you can also do like the colorful candy canes. You can really color these in any way you want. But I'm just going to be showing you how I'm going to be coloring it in. So like I said earlier, I'm going to be using the Staedtler double-ended watercolor brush pens. I really like these, and I'm not going to be using these as watercolor, but just as markers because they work really well for both. So I'm going to start with this nice red, and I'm going to use the bright brush tip. So there's 2 ends. There's this pointy end, which I'm not going to use today. I'm going to be using this brush end, which is really nice to color with. Okay, now I'm going to show you, I'm going to be coloring in this stripe, red, and then leaving this white, and then do this red. I'm going to do that all the way up, alternating between red and white, and I'm going to do that over here too. Now, I'm going to be fast forwarding my coloring it, but you can always pause the video and color it at your own pace. Okay, time to fast forward. That's done. You can totally leave it like this and that would be great, but I'm going to be taking a dark green marker, and I'm going to be drawing a circle in the background just to add a little something and some more detail to it because I think it's a little plain right now, but you can leave it like this and that would be totally fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward this, and if you would like to do the circle in the background too, you can pause the video and do that at your own speed. That's how you draw and color in a candy cane. Now, yours probably looks great right now, and you can totally leave it like this, and it would be awesome. But I'm going to give you a couple art tips on how to shade this. So, first I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just going to shade the candy cane. I'm just going to leave the background like this 2D flat green circle because I think it looks good like that. But I'm going to be taking this very, very light blue, and I'm just going to go along the edges of here like this. I'm going to do that on both sides and both candy canes, and then I'm also going to do that at the end if the end is white. I am going to fast forward this just because it will take a while because there are a lot of spots I need to shade. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but you can always pause the video and do this at your own speed. Already it's looking a lot more 3D, and just this much shading has done such a huge difference. But I am going to go ahead and shade in the red stripes as well. And I'm going to be taking this orangish brown, or like a reddish brown, and I'm going to just, like the white, I'm going to go on the edges. If you don't have a reddish or orangish brown, you can use a normal brown, or just a darker red would work perfectly. And you don't even have to do this either. So I'm just going to go ahead and go along the edges like this. And this might be a little too dark for this shading, but it'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this. That is how you draw, shade, and color in 2 candy canes back to back. I really like the shading of this because it makes it look very 3D. And for those of you who aren't sure why I shaded this, and that is probably a lot of you, I will just explain to you why I shaded along the edges. Well, candy canes aren't just flat, right? They're rounded. You can hold them, and they're circular. But on paper, you have to shade to get that. So by shading on the edges, you're creating the illusion that it keeps going around and around like a normal candy cane would, which is why I have shaded along the edges. That's the end of our art lesson. I'm sure you did great. If yours doesn't look like mine, that's fine. Being unique is great. Plus, as long as you had fun, that's what matters most. And remember, practicing will pay off, so keep on drawing. If you want more videos like this, make sure you press the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Also, make sure you share this video with your friends and family so that they can draw candy canes too, because candy canes are really fun to draw. Also, make sure that you ask your parents or teacher to email me a picture of your drawing to jossaskidsdraw@yahoo.com. Also include in the email, what's your favorite holiday? I'm really curious, and I also want to make sure that I have drawing tutorials for everyone's favorite holidays. If you want to keep drawing, check out last week's video, how to draw an apple. And stay tuned, because there's plenty more winter, Christmas, and other holiday-themed videos coming very, very soon. So stay tuned. See you guys later. Bye!